Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am ever so grateful that you have joined me on this magical today. Today is certainly a magical today for me because I am just coming off our Journey to Jupiter weekend that you may have heard me and my other colleagues who I've had on the show talk about. And this weekend we put together as a weekend for people to learn how to channel, to learn their own light language, to get in touch with their own intuitive abilities. We even learned how to tap into the Akashic Records. And all of these different ways are actually channeling. When we want to channel our higher self or tap into the Akashic Records or channel maybe a collective, this is all really channeling. We're tuning in a frequency and we are directing this intention towards this frequency and in this alignment. And in this way, we can bring messages through. And it is a very easy, very natural thing to do. What was amazing is that we had a wide variety of people who didn't even know what kind of event they were coming to. They just knew they had to come. They felt a call. Everyone at this event felt a call, and they all listened. So some people didn't even know what they were getting themselves into, and others did. They've had practice in this area. And so we had the broad spectrum of everyone. And the four of us who were teaching and leading groups all do things in our own way, and we all have a different perspective. So that was really fun. Each one of us was able to share a different way. And so at the beginning, some people were a little unsure how to tap in, were a little doubtful, weren't trusting of themselves, weren't quite listening as much as we could as humans. And at the end of the weekend, I think each and every person felt way more comfortable in their intuitive abilities. I know many felt way more comfortable in their abilities because what everyone was able to do was give others readings. We broke up into groups and we practiced all sorts of different techniques, and it doesn't necessarily come super easy at first if you're not practiced. But as you do practice, you see, and everyone there saw how easy it really is. Another beautiful thing when we get together in groups like this, and I love to talk about this because I think it is extremely important that we do things like this, that we listen to these calls that we hear to attend certain events, to go to a festival, to a conference, to a gathering of some sort. If we're hearing a call to go to this event, it's very important that we go. So many people at this event said, "I'm here because I heard a call, and that's why I'm here." And that's it. They listened. And it turned out to be the most beautiful gathering of unity and friends meeting each other again in this lifetime. Because when you get together in a group like this and you hear the call, what it is that you're gathering the souls together who have been in other lifetimes together. we had beings from all galaxies, all different star seeds. And it was really, really beautiful to see everybody learn their origins, to understand all these different aspects of themselves. A very big component of this weekend that we all learned how important it is to listen, not only to just our own intuition, but listen to our environment, listen to each other, pay attention to everything that's going on around you. The universe is constantly giving us signs and symbols. And especially when you get together in a big group and the energy is building so strongly, these signs and symbols come so incredibly quickly. And if you pay attention to them and listen and then ask to see what those messages are, there is so much to be gained and so much to be learned from them. And it also goes to show you how much we are never, ever alone. We are constantly surrounded by our guides, by our angels, by our higher self collective. And all of these groups are helping us constantly, 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 constantly. And when we pay attention, we can feel it. And that's really the name of the game, is to tap into these feelings. When you feel it, that's when you know. That's when it's real. So you gotta feel the feeling to trust that it's real within you, to really know it. And what can be really fun is that our guides will continue to send us signs and symbols after we have learned something to solidify what we have learned. For example, this weekend was a lot about the divine union of ourselves, of our masculine and our feminine, of our negative and our positive, of being able to bring these into balance, to truly accept all aspects of ourselves. We wound up having a total of 33 people in the house. 33 is a number that symbolizes Christ consciousness, or 333, 33, all those threes to me say Christ consciousness, the Trinity. Christ consciousness is really about divine union, this masculine and feminine balance within ourselves. And when we can do this, this is when we ascend. This is one of the things that Christ was trying to teach us. And I found it very interesting recollecting back that we are during Christmas time right now, the time where we are celebrating the birth of Christ, the birth of Christ consciousness. So each and every year, it is not just a coincidence that these topics keep coming up. This time of year is when we start to go within, whether we know it or not, and start looking at these divine aspects within each of us. We start looking at these negative and positive aspects, and we start thinking about this divine union. Whether we know it or not, the energy that surrounds this time encourages us to think in this way. And this is why I feel like I wind up talking about it each and every year.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about Function Mushroom Elixir. I originally had the founder of Function on episode 1856 to discuss the incredible healing power of mushrooms. Since then, I personally started taking the elixir regularly, and as someone who is not super sensitive to stimulants like caffeine, I was very pleasantly surprised by the boost and legal buzz it provided me. The elixir is designed to not only increase energy, but focus and libido as well, and it accomplishes all this with a mix of ethically sourced, high-quality lion's mane mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms, ginseng, guarana, ginger, goji berry, rhodiola, holy basil, and lemon. It is also super easy to take in dropper form. So if you're interested in trying out the fantastic Function Fungi Elixir, head over to positivehead.com/shrooms and use code positivehead at checkout for 10% off.
And it's also winter time, and winter time is the time where we go inside because it's cold, and so we want to nestle up by the fire. Well, that's also symbolic of us looking within as well. And so what a wonderful time this time of year to take on some new practices. If you're not meditating, maybe bring in a meditative practice. I feel like this is where the New Year's resolutions start coming in because of this divine birth. This is a time for us to birth new things for ourselves, a new understanding of ourselves, a new balance within ourselves. And what kind of practice can we develop that will help us to gain this balance within ourselves, to help us understand what it even takes for us to do that? And my favorite technique for this is meditation. I say it over and over and over again. But to maintain a focus in your mind of a certain vibration each and every day, that will ultimately keep you in that vibration. The more you focus on that vibration, the more you tune to it, and the more that is your frequency. The more you're able to understand and accept yourself. And then the more you're able to understand and accept others. And when we go inside and we spend time in meditation, focusing on all of these different energies, these beautiful vibrations that we want to focus on, this is what we develop. I also want to remind everyone that meditation does not mean shutting down your mind. It means silencing the conscious, barky mind, the doubter mind, the devil on your shoulder. It means quieting that aspect of the mind. And a simple way to do that is to focus on a different energy, to focus on love, to focus on gratitude. Run the Ho'onoponopono in your mind. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me and thank you. And you can direct that energy towards yourself, to anyone you choose, to the earth itself. This practice is one of my absolute favorites because when you focus on these energies are what are then seated within you and continue to grow. And just simple basic breathing as well. When we're sitting down and we're trying to quiet our mind, first of all, we don't try. I'm glad I said that because trying is how we keep ourselves from getting into a flow state. And so we just relax into it and focus on our breath. Because when we try to shut down the conscious mind, we're just thinking and keeping it active. So you don't think about it and focus on the breath. And then also focus in on those other vibrations. You do that long enough. And what naturally happens is those other thoughts, those conscious thoughts, those barky thoughts will just shut up because that's the nature of things. That's how we function naturally. And so it's very easy to get into this state. We make it hard on ourselves, having different expectations and thinking it needs to be something else. For example, when we were teaching others how to channel this weekend, we were encouraging them to just say whatever was the first thing that came to mind. The first image, the first thought, the first feeling. Whatever comes first, spit that out. Don't think about it. Don't judge it. Don't try to examine it. Just say it. And what's fun is when you try to read for others, this can be a great practice because you won't know what makes sense to them. And so you're going to have to just say the silly picture that came into your mind. Leah had a great example that when she started reading the Akashic Records, she saw strawberry sauce on someone's lips. And she tried to find a symbolic way to explain that to them, and it wasn't making any sense until she just gave up and said, all right, I'm seeing strawberry sauce. And it was the strawberry sauce that made sense to that client. Of course, it didn't make any sense to Leah. Of course, it's not going to. And so it was a beautiful learning example for her so that she could understand that she's not going to understand what that means for the client, and it's okay. Just say it. Just say whatever it is, that first thing that comes. And it's very surprising when you do that and it's the right information. And when you keep doing that, you get more and more solid in your understanding and in your trust within yourself. So when we allow ourselves to just listen without judgment, we can learn a whole lot. Listening is the name of the game. We wound up telling ourselves, we had a funny little joke about it, just listen, listen, listen over and over, because it feels like our higher selves are saying it to it just like that, getting in our face and just staring at us and saying, listen, listen, because they want us to pay attention. It's such a beautiful thing when we actually do, because our life gets so much easier. Things don't have the resistance that they used to because we have a different perspective when we are listening. And it's easier to listen than you would think. And there's one last thing that I would like to encourage all of you to do this winter season. We did a little eye gazing exercise, and this is a common exercise, and I'm not sure if any of you have ever done this exercise. And it seems like one of those old school exercises. The thing about it is, it creates so much energy, so much understanding, so much love, so much vulnerability. You can learn a lot about looking at someone in their eyes for just 30 seconds. So what I encourage all of you to do is to look each other in the eye, to look your neighbor in the eye, to look the person who's checking you out at the grocery store in the eye, and see the love, see their soul, see that their soul is made of the same love and light that yours is, and see them as another creator being just like you. If we all do that, if we all look at each other in that way, imagine the magic we will be creating in this world. I look forward to living in this magic that we are all creating, and I'm enjoying the magic that we've already created. It's a fun life we live. I love you all so much. I think that's it for me today. I'm going to leave you with this song. This is Symbolico, Tribal Future. Until next time, I love you all.